All right, so thanks for coming out for our bonus class. Excited to be with you, and yeah, it's always lovely to meditate together. I really love it, and so glad you guys could be here. And I thought I would just take just a few moments to speak about the new moon that's happening today. And you might have noticed maybe some shifts in energy. Sometimes people are really sensitive to the changes with the moon. So I'm just going to talk a tiny little bit about what's happening with the new moon right now, because it might put into perspective what you may be feeling on some level. So we have a new moon in the sign of Scorpio in the sidereal astrology. And in the Vedic system, they also talk about the lunar mansions. And this new moon is in the lunar mansion of Anuradha, which means the divine pair. And so the placement of the moon, it has a lot of different aspects. There's a Mars aspect, there's a Saturn aspect. There are a lot of planets that are in relationship to the moon right now. And when we have a new moon, we're at a beginning point. So the energy is very low. Like it can be deep, but we can also feel a little low in our energy. Like I know for me, I've been really tired this week. And the new moon is a time of, whenever possible, paying attention to the more yin side and also tapping into potentials, right? Like, okay, what am I noticing that I'm needing more of? It's like a new beginning. Whereas a full moon is culminating energy, right? Like, what have I accomplished? What's culminating? What's full? What am I seeing as a clear point of growth, right? Whereas a new moon, it's more maybe, maybe sometimes uncertain because it's the dark moon. And so there's an invitation automatically to really go inward. Some of the things that may be up right now is just feeling bombarded by a lot of different things, whether it's just things feeling out of balance or things feeling edgy, or maybe some like crazy kind of slap in the face thing happened lately where, something kind of came out of nowhere, conflicting energies. The moon doesn't really enjoy being in Scorpio, so it's going to have a little bit of a challenge to it. And the interesting thing is that the nakshatra that the moon is in, the sign of the divine pair, represents love and care and pleasure. So the guidance is to find your way through the edgy time with delight, right? And what's challenging about that is we may not be feeling delight. We may actually be feeling really serious, really stressed, really overwhelmed. But the medicine or the divine guidance is find your way with more care and a little less seriousness, more care for yourself, and also kind of letting go of trying to figure it out or trying to get things to move right now, and just be with what delights you, like cup of tea, good company, romantic comedy, whatever like tickles your fancy, that kind of thing is actually really important right now. And it kind of ties in with our theme for tonight. We were going to talk about and do a little practice on how to offset negative energies from other people. And one of the techniques is actually keeping your level of vitality and joy high. That's actually one of the ways we can offset highly negative energy, is if we can stay in touch with what brings us joy. Now, I don't mean frivolousness necessarily. Like if someone is really struggling that you care for, it's hard, right? It's hard to see our loved ones struggle. And it doesn't necessarily always help for us to go down with the sinking ship, right? It's like, okay, how can I find buoyancy for myself and actually help support the other with my own buoyancy? So taking care of ourselves and knowing ourselves and liking ourselves is actually one of the ways we offset negative energies from others. Like, it's kind of like that thing where people will get a little nasty and you can choose to get involved or not, and you can choose to be aware but not lose your energy, not lose your center. And it takes practice. There are definitely situations that arise that they can be very triggering and activating, and you can lose your shit. That's definitely happens. That happened to me earlier this week. Like it's real, it's real. And it came out of nowhere, and I was like, okay, this is calling my attention to something really important. I need to pay attention. And that's the other thing, is like, you don't want to ignore it. You don't want to like play it off as like, oh, well, you want to really pay attention, like, that really hurt, or that's really impacting me. Let me take another look. And sometimes we'll recognize that it is something we need to have strategy on, like we need to have strategy on how to deal with that person or that situation. Or we might find that it's really not ours to take care of at all, that we have to actually release. So thanks for being here, and we're gonna dive into the meditation now, and then we'll check in a little bit and see how that was, and then we'll maybe, if there's some questions, some Q&A, and then we'll talk a little bit about smudging and other ways you can kind of purify your personal space. And then maybe we'll close with another experiential, just so you can really feel the practices land in your body. How does that sound? Good? Okay, great. All right. So let's take a moment and just settle in. So I'm going to invite you to just find your seat. Closing your eyes and drawing your attention inward. And if you're not ready to move inward, if you need like a stretch or a movement or a shake, please go ahead and take care of that, like give that to yourself. Because sometimes we're not ready to get still. We need to like look out the window, maybe stretch our legs or our arms. Do whatever you need to help your body ground and connect to this space and this time. And then when you're ready, you can start to close your eyes to bring the focus inward. And you'll notice that as you close your eyes, there is a natural turning away from the world and the busyness, turning our attention inward to a more still place inside. And also we're closing our eyes, we shut out the light. We meditate to learn how to see in the dark, right? So with this really powerful new moon, we're invited to practice seeing in the dark. So some of the flavors of this time is perhaps transformational through challenges, healing through uncertainty, pausing for review, recognizing perhaps a pivot that maybe something stopped you in your tracks and said, hey, wait a minute, pay attention, pay attention. And so whatever is arising for you, just notice your direct experience. And how you're registering the change in perception of self or others or the world around. Maybe something really normal happened, but you saw it in a different way this time, like, I notice that happens a lot, but I'm seeing it in a different way now. Or maybe there is a relationship undergoing some change. We were talking a little bit about how we can offset stress that other people are experiencing. So I'm going to invite you now to just notice if there is a particular situation that arose recently that caused you some stress, seeing this other person or feeling this other person really have a stressful response, a negative attitude, or whatever it is, like without judging them, but just calling to mind how you are affected by other people's stress. Maybe there's one person in mind, or maybe you even just have like a collection of memories where the stress of a group or one person really impacted you. And I want to encourage you to choose something on the easy side for this exercise. And just start to bring it to mind. Start to recall how it was for you to experience this other person's stress, worry, or concern. And maybe you noticed that they became curt or judgmental or demanding. Just notice how their stress was expressed in their body language or the way they were talking. And just observe, right? Don't take it in, just observe what you're noticing in this other person. How are they behaving in the stress response? Just observing. And if you drop a level deeper, do you notice an emotion? Right? Maybe you witness their anger, or maybe even their sadness and disappointment. And just start to see if you can connect to their emotional body. Like, oh, yeah, they're really upset about something. And they're expressing it this way. And I feel their anger. I feel their frustration, whatever it might be. Just kind of take them in by observing. And see if you can just allow them to have their reaction. Without getting involved. I mean, maybe you did in the memory, right? But just now, just in this focused state, just really observe their reaction from a place of not needing to fix or change them. And you might notice that there are parts of you that would like to fix or change or help in some way. And so just start to notice that, right? Start to, when you're ready, start to notice what is it that you do when this other person is stressed or being negative or whatever it is that they do. right? What is it that you do? Does like your body move towards them? Does it move away from them? Maybe you notice something in you. You get a little jumpy or uncomfortable, or you want to rush in and fix, or you want to run away. Whatever it is, just notice your reaction to their reaction. And maybe if you drop a little deeper in, you might notice some emotion for you. You might feel anger too, or sad, or fear. And just breathing through the body, keeping the exploration moving, and just letting the awareness reveal what's here in this dynamic. There's no right answer, just observing yourself and how you respond to another person's stress. And then I am going to invite you just to ask a couple of questions to yourself. So the first is, what do I need in this moment? What do I need to feel myself again? My center, my ground. What do I need? What would help me move from reaction to response? What do I need? And you might just notice, like, I want to be here for this other person, but I'm feeling tired and I don't have the energy to do this right now. You might just have that awareness of, wow, I need some space. I need time. I need to come back to this later. Whatever it is, just notice. And give that to yourself, that whatever it is, give yourself that right now. Whatever it is you need to feel centered in yourself. And really feel your own energy. And once you feel more centered in your own energy, notice if there's a little bit more space for you and this other person to meet at a healthy boundary, where your personal space and their personal space are intact. And you can see and speak to this person from center, from your center. And then from that place, notice for the other where the hurt is. Can you feel where the hurt is? Where there might be some stress or pain or confusion for the other. And see if you can sense into what they need to come back into themselves, into their center more fully. Is it maybe they just need you to listen? Maybe they just need you to stand there with them and not say anything, right? Just your presence. What is the healing response that you intuitively sense for this person? Maybe it's just kind words like, I understand, I hear you, I hear you. That is really stressful. So whatever that is, just noticing how you can embody a healing response. Just simply by your pure presence, full presence. And then letting that person go, just sending them back into their life and just letting them release from your focus and just bringing your focus now onto yourself and your full presence now with yourself. Really allowing full presence to be the whole space that you're sitting in. Your whole field of awareness is fully present. And self-aware. And allow yourself to experience your own deep, full presence. Being with yourself in this fullness. And noticing if there's a quality, a word, or an image that really represents fullness of self for you. Maybe it's a feeling, maybe it's a word, maybe it's an image. And know you can call upon this word or image or symbol anytime you need to remember. Your full and powerful presence. And giving yourself a few moments here to bring the meditation to a close. Perhaps you might feel like writing some notes down, journaling on that experience a little bit. So I'll give you about a minute here to take the time you need to reflect on how that was for you. And you can also just stay in the quietude